Does the latest news about the housing market have you questioning your plans to sell your house? If so, perspective is key. Here are some ways a trusted real estate professional can explain the shift that's happening today and why it's still a seller's market even during the cool down. While the supply of homes available for sale has increased this year compared to last, we're still nowhere near what's considered a balanced market. A recent article from Calculated Risk helps put this into context. It shows supply this year has surpassed 2021 levels by over 30%. But the farther back you look, the more you'll understand the big picture. Compared to 2020, we're just barely above the level of inventory we saw then. And if you go back to 2019, we're roughly 40% below the housing supply we had at that time. So why does this matter to you? Well, when inventory is low, there is still a demand for your house because there aren't enough homes available for sale. And while homes aren't selling as quickly as they did a few months ago, the average number of days on market is still well below pre-pandemic norms, in part because inventory is so low. The graph below uses data from the Realtors Confidence Index by the National Association of Realtors to illustrate this trend. As the graph shows, the pre-pandemic numbers are higher than the numbers we saw during the pandemic. That's because the average days on the market started to decrease as homes sold at record pace during the pandemic. Most recently, due to the cool down in the housing market, the average days on the market have started to tick back up, but are still far below pre-pandemic norm. So, what does this mean for you? Well, it may not be as fast as it was a couple months ago. Homes are still selling much faster than they did in more normal pre-pandemic years. And if you price it right, it could go under contract quickly. Buyer demand has softened this year in response to rising mortgage rates. But again, perspective is key. Getting 3 to 5 offers like sellers did during the pandemic isn't the norm. Prior to the pandemic, it was typical for homes sold to see roughly 2 to 2.5 offers. As the market heated up during the pandemic, the average number of offers skyrocketed as record low mortgage rates drove up demand. But most recently, the number of offers on homes sold today has returned to pre-pandemic levels as the market cools from the frenzy. What's the takeaway for you? Well, buyer demand has moderated from the pandemic peak, but it hasn't disappeared. Buyers are still out there, and if you price your house at current market value, you'll still be able to sell your house today. If you have any questions about selling your house in today's market, let's connect. That way you can have context around what's happening now, and you're up to date on what you can expect when you're ready to move.